Well, hi everyone, and welcome to the Infinity Futures Daily Trading video. My name is Raleigh White, and I'm here to talk to you about the trades we took in our live trading room on Thursday, December 18th, 2014. Well, looking at today's economic calendar, you can see that there were a number of things on tap that we needed to be aware of. First of all, we had the first day of the European Union Economic Summit, and that was going on all day. Then at 7:30, we had the release of unemployment claims, which came in lower than expected at 289,000 new jobless claims being filed versus an estimate of 297,000. At 8:45, we had flash services PMI data coming out, which was lower than expected with a value of 53.6 versus an estimate of 57.1. Then at 9 o'clock, we had the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, which also came in lower than expected with a value of 24.5 versus an estimate of 26.3. And then at 9:30, we had natural gas storage data being released, which was lower with a drawdown of a negative 64 billion cubic feet of natural gas versus an estimate of a negative 21 billion cubic feet. As far as today's pre-market sentiment was concerned, things were relatively mixed to higher coming into the open. Now, the Asian markets had closed mixed on firming oil prices as investor sentiment was improving, as the oil prices were rebounding, and also after yesterday's accommodative position from the Federal Reserve. We did see that the best performing markets in Asia were the Japanese Nikkei, which closed up 2.3% as the weaker yen was helping export shares led by blue chip companies like Toyota, Canon, and Sony. On the flip side, the worst performing market was the Chinese Shanghai market. It closed down 1/10 of a point on a slump in the housing sector on report that new home prices fell in the month of November. As far as the European markets are concerned, they were open and trending higher after the release of the upbeat FOMC statement yesterday. Now, shares were rebounding on Janet Yellen's comments that the Fed had confidence that the U.S. economy was recovering. We also see here that President Putin has blamed external factors for Russia's problems and that he expects to see a recovery in 2 years, but gave very little details as to how that was going to happen. We then saw that the German IFO Business Climate Survey was released, and it showed that this beat expectations with a value of 105.5 versus a forecast of 105.4. As far as the United States is concerned, Wall Street figured to open up higher after yesterday's market rally. Now, the futures were pointing up coming into the open following the global markets higher and after the very supportive FOMC comments yesterday. As a matter of fact, Fed Chair Yellen has advised that interest rate hike discussions won't really be starting for at least a couple of sessions, which would mean the discussions would actually start sometime in the first quarter of 2015. Focus for many U.S. investors today would be on the flash services PMI data out at 8:45, followed by the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index at 9 and the natural gas storage information at 9:30. As far as my trading activity is concerned, I attempted 4 entries in the markets, and I was filled on one of those in the Euro FX futures market. But before we look at those trades, I do need to remind everyone of this following important disclaimer, and that is that trading futures involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your circumstances, knowledge, and financial resources, as you may lose all or more of your initial investment. And always remember that past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Well, turning to the charts, let's begin here by taking a look at the gold market. You can see coming right into the open here, we had 1, 2, 3 bars moving lower, 1 bar retracing, and I was hoping this second bar here was going to retrace and give me a short entry right here at 1206, even just below the upper Bollinger Band. The market came within 5 ticks of giving me the fill I was looking for and then moved away from me, and I had to take this trade out. That took my attention over to the 30-year bond market, and looking at 30-year bonds after the open here, we can see we had 1, 2 bars moving lower, followed by 1 bar retracing and a second bar retracing, and I was looking for a short entry here at 143.23, just below the support to pivot point. The market actually came to my entry, gave me a quick kiss on the cheek, and then moved away from me without filling me. Otherwise, this would have been a nice little profitable trade, but when it moved through my profit target, I needed to go ahead and take this entry out of the market. That then brings me to the Euro FX futures market, and we can see here shortly after the open of the trading session, we had 2 bars moving higher, followed by 1 bar retracing, and I was looking for this second bar to retrace to give me a long entry, bouncing off the lower Bollinger Band at 122.80, but the net market only came within just a couple of ticks of filling me, moved away, and I had to take this trade off. But towards the end of the trading session, you can see that we had 1, 2, 3 consecutive bars moving lower, followed by 1 bar retracing and a second bar retracing, and this gave me a short entry opportunity at 122.93, just below the upper Bollinger Band. I like this entry because I had nice protection between my entry and my stop loss in the form of the upper Bollinger Band, and on this trade I got my fill. The market moved 3 ticks in my direction. At that point in time, my stops moved to break even, and the market moved right into my profit target, so was able to pick up 4 ticks or $50 per contract traded. So all told, just to recap here, we had 4 attempts in the market. I had 3 of those attempts I didn't get fills. The 4th one I did get a fill, and I closed the session up $50 per contract traded. Looking forward to seeing what kind of opportunities might present themselves tomorrow. Well, looking at tomorrow's economic calendar, you can see that we have a very light schedule of economic news and events. We do have the second day of the European Union Economic Summit, which is an all-day event. And then tomorrow also happens to be the 3rd Friday of the month, which means it's an options expiration Friday. And this particular Friday, it happens to be a quadruple witching options expiration Friday. So with that, thank you so much for watching today's daily video. I wish you a pleasant evening. I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow. Take care and good night.